Hello coders, welcome to Refresh Coding. My name is Madhulika and in this video we are going to talk about Amazon Elastic Beanstack. So what is this? It is basically a AWS service which allows you to deploy your application without worrying about any infrastructure related issues like load balancing, auto scaling, monitoring, anything. So here it is also known as a serverless service because here you are not the one who is going to create any server, install softwares or do anything. It is basically a PaaS service, which is platform as a service. So here what you will do, you will just simply create your application, you will load your file and you will simply deploy it. Rest all the thing will be taken care by Amazon Elastic Beanstack. So here what we will do, we will create a springboot application first, which will be having a REST controller, so that it is a kind of web service which we are going to deploy on cloud, and we will use Amazon Elastic Beanstack service for that. So here we will quickly go to our STS and we will quickly create a Spring starter project. If you already have a project, you can use it. You will have to have this packaging as jar because we are going to deploy this jar file on the cloud. Build tool we will use as Maven, Java version, let's say 17. You can use any version you want, but it should be at least Java 11 onwards. Here the name of application I will give as Beanstack test or test1, whatever, and package I will keep as com. I will simply do next. And here, since we are going to create a web service, we will be using this dependency, which is Spring Web. In this project I am not configuring the database part, so database we will create a separate video for that, where I will be discussing the RDS part on Elastic Beanstack. So here we will simply take the Spring Web because we are going to deploy a web service and we will finish it. So it will take some time to load your application depending on your internet speed. And here we will go to src main java com, which is our package, and this is our main file. So we want a REST controller, so we will quickly create a REST controller. So I will go to the com package. See here we are not understanding in detail what is Spring Boot, REST and all those things. I assume that you know it, so I will just quickly take the example. So let's say I am creating a hello controller and finish, and I will just quickly make it a REST controller. And here we will just quickly create one method, which is, let's say, public, and this method is returning, let's say, a string, and let's say the method name is welcome. And we will just simply return here. So we will return here welcome to Elastic Beanstack, because we are going to discuss about Elastic Beanstack. That's it. We will give a get mapping here so that we can get this method. We can call this method. And we will simply give a URL. So URL you can give anything, let's say hello or welcome, whatever you want. So I'll give it as welcome. And that's it. Our very basic application is ready. Spring Boot application is ready with the REST controller. So we are not creating any complex application here, because here our main motto is to understand how we can deploy this jar on Elastic Beanstack. And I will quickly run this application. Here it will run on the default Tomcat port, which is 8080, because I am not doing any explicit server configuration, and our application, you can see it is up and running, and it is running on Tomcat server port, which is 8080. So you can see here Tomcat started on 8080, or you can say 8080. Now we will quickly create a jar of this. So for that, what I will do, I will right click, run as Maven build, and I will run here to Maven lifecycles, clean and install together. Why clean? So that if some previous files or something is there, it will clean it and it will create a fresh jar for you. We will run it, and if you can see here, build success, and we have got this folder as target. We will just refresh this project once, and if you can see, we have got this target folder, and we have got our this snapshot jar. So we are supposed to deploy this jar on the cloud. Now we will go back to our Beanstack, and we will create a application. Now here we want to deploy a web application, so I will take it as web server environment. After that, here application name you can give anything, your choice. Let's say I will give test EB, which is Elastic Beanstack. After that, I'll go down. Environment information, if you can see, automatic it is creating one environment for you, which is test EB-env. All this field you can keep it as it is. Just one thing to remember here, that you need to know on which region you are. So right now we are in this region, and this is what is our availability zone, US East 1. So you need to remember this, because if you are trying to access it through some other region, it will not be available. After that, we will go to the platform, and you can see we will take this managed platform, and here we need to select one platform, which is Java, because our application is running in Java. Current error 17 running on this. So you can choose here any version. On whatever version your application is, you can choose it, but make sure it is Java 8 and above. After this, we will simply go down application code. We can give the application code right now also, or we can deploy it later also. So right now I will just upload the code. So what is the code? Code is nothing but your jar file, which we are going to load here. So here you can see one public S3 URL is also there. So we can create a S3 URL, and we can upload the project there, and we can give that particular URL here. That also we can do. That I will discuss in a separate video. Here I will just take the jar file from local file, and I will choose the file. So here I will just go back. This is our project. I'll go inside the target folder, and this is what is the jar. So I will quickly open it, and here if you can see, our jar file is loaded. Here one more thing, you need to give a version. So let's say this is first time I am deploying, so I will give version 1.0. After that, here single instance free trial eligible. Okay, so here I am doing it only for the demo purpose, for the education purpose. So I will select this single instance one. In the production, you can choose as number of instances as you want. Okay, one more thing to remember here, that we will create a IAM role here. So make sure before running this Elastic Beanstack, you have a IAM role, and you have attached certain policies to it. You can just simply go here and learn about it. If you want, I will create a separate video on that also. Just let me know in the comment. So here I already have a service on this IAM role, so I will just quickly select it. So I have created it as EC2 Beanstack, and here also instance profile EC2 Beanstack. Here you need to remember one thing, we are not going to manually create any EC2 instance here. By default, it will create EC2 instances for us as per the requirement, and it will deploy our application. We are not supposed to create any instance, we are not supposed to do any configuration, nothing. It will do automatic everything, even load balancing for you and auto scaling for you. Here you can choose a key pair if you have. Right now I don't have any key pair, so I will not choose. Anyway, it is optional. I will do next. And here if you can see, all these steps are optional, so we will just keep everything default. Let it use default VPC, default subnets, default security group, everything. We will not do any manual configuration here. But if you want in your project specific VPC and subnets are there, you can choose them from here, and you can choose the security groups also. Here one more thing, if you want to do any database configuration, you can do it from here. So right now in this video we are not doing the database part, so we will not touch it. For database I will create a separate video. We will go down, just do next. And on the other page also we will keep everything default. We will not touch anything. And I will do next. Here also if you can see health reporting, we will just take, you can take the basic one also, enhanced also. What is this health and all, we will discuss it. So I will just go down. Okay, here you need to remember one thing, that we will add one environment property, which is our port. If you remember, our application is running on port 8080, so we will just give this port number here, because by default Elastic Beanstack deploys your application on port 5000. So but our application is not running on 5000, so it will create a problem. So I will just add a port here and I'll give 8080. Next. That's it. We will just simply review it and we will submit it. So we will have to wait for some time, because it will take some time to launch the application and to create the environment where our application will be deployed. So if you can see, Elastic Beanstack is launching your environment and it will take a few minutes. So by the time it is launching the environment, we will quickly have a look on all these things. What are these? So what this Elastic Beanstack does, it behind the scene, it creates an EC2 instance for you and it deploys your application on that particular EC2 instance. It automatic does load balancing and auto scaling also. That means if the load increases on here, it will keep monitoring. Okay, it will keep monitoring your application, like what are the network, what are CPU utilization, environment health, everything. And if it sees that CPU utilization is more, it will immediately auto scale your application. So right now we can't see anything because our application is not ready yet. It is still launching. What is the health here? It is the EC2 instance which it will launch. It will check the health of that particular instance, like it is responding properly or not. What are the responses, like 3xs, 4xs, 5xs and all those things. Logs also you can see from here, like right now there is no application running, so there is no log. Otherwise it will give you all the logs at what level you are getting some error or anything. Alarms also you can create, like state, metric, period and all those things. You can create an alarm for you also, like if too much load balancing or auto scaling or something is there, it will send you an alarm. You can see this managed updates also, like managed updates history, like what is the history of your application, what is happening and all those things. You can see some tags also. If you want to add some tags, you can add the tags also. So these are all these things. So once our application is up and running, you can see anything here. If you can see, it is right now giving some warning for health because our application is not up yet. What are events? Events will give you the information about everything, like whatever is happening here, like added instance deployment completed successfully, and all those things. So it is creating a EC2 instance for us, and it is doing it. So it is still taking some time. Our application will be up in some time. And this is what is your domain. So once your instance is up, we will click on this particular domain, and you can see our environment successfully launched. So that means we can use our environment now, and our test application will be deployed. We have already added the jar file, so it will be deployed. We just need to click on this domain, and there you go. You can see this white label error page. That means our application is deployed. It is running behind the scene. We are getting the status 404. Why for 404? Because we need to run the URL properly. Okay, like right now, if I run my application here, localhost 8080, and what is the URL which we have given? It is welcome. So you can see we are getting this message, welcome to Elastic Beanstack. That means our Java application is up and running, and it is returning us this message. Now this localhost 8080 is replaced here with this particular domain, because now our application is not running from the local system. It is deployed on cloud, and we just need to run this URL here, which is welcome. If you remember, we have given the get mapping as welcome. And there you go. Can you see welcome to Elastic Beanstack? We are getting the same message which we are getting in local system. We are getting the same message on cloud. That means our jar file is deployed. Our Java application, or you can say our Spring Boot REST application, is up and running here. And what we have done, we have not done anything. We have just created one application, and we have just simply added the jar file, and it got deployed. Now here, if you see the health part, here behind the scene, if you can see here, already one instance is created for you, and your application is deployed. Now if you can go to the monitoring and you check all the CPU utilization and everything, you can see here. So right now CPU utilization is very less, so it will not do any load balancing or auto scaling for us here, automatic. But if too much CPU utilization is there, it will do that also automatic. So that means you are not worrying about anything. Your Elastic Beanstack is taking care of everything for you. So that's it in this video. Okay, one more important thing, once you are done with this, like once you are done with your deployment and everything, this is what is your application test.db, and it is running in this particular environment. So if suppose you'll go in this environment, and suppose you are changing the version in the code, or you are doing some modification, okay, just recreate the jar file, go here, upload and deploy. Here just choose the file once again and deploy. It will redeploy your application. Means you are not supposed to do that create application and create environment step again and again. And the other important thing is, since it is a paid service, it is not a free service. So if you are done with your task, like your application is deployed and you are done with it, make sure you terminate the environment and you delete the application. Otherwise, if it will keep running in the background, AWS will charge you for that. So I will quickly terminate it. And I will go to the application and I will delete the application also. Or sometime when you delete the application, automatic, see, it will terminate the environment also when you will delete the application, and automatic it will terminate the behind the scene running instances also. If you are using any S3 URL, that also will be deleted. So this is also an important step. Please do it once your work is done. Okay, so that's it in this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please like it, please share the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.